Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to...
Life in Greece is hard for the Greeks. Greece is not doing so great.
Good afternoon and welcome to Greece. My name's Andrew and I live here, and it's a beautiful hot August afternoon. It's August the 11th. We're heading towards St. Mary's Day. It's the height of the holiday season here in Greece. You can probably see behind me the beach is relatively busy, and I say relatively. But I was going to do one of
not
those
too
videos where I
busy to
walk down
me.
the beach, I show
He said
bikini-clad women,
relatively
I go off
busy.
and talk about the sea and the sun and the food and the accommodation and why you should
To
come to
me,
Greece in
I don't
August. It's the
know.
best
I
time of
need
year.
to see more.
Yeah, like we're not getting like a good look, but it doesn't look like that packed, at least not in Miami terms.
It looked like, everyone who's from this like resort or this
Neighborhood, yeah.
neighborhood is all in this one area.
And it absolutely is, but I don't feel it's appropriate for me to do that video because I feel very conflicted. It has become very visible to me during this holiday season that for the Greeks themselves, Greece is extremely tough. Now, I've known this for ages, I skirt around it in my videos, but I feel this time I actually need to do a video to talk about that specifically. This is a domestic resort. Where I am today is a domestic resort.
Oh, it's a
That means
resort,
that you
yeah.
get Greeks coming
Okay.
here. Yes, we get some foreigners off the boats, but it's mainly Greeks. And the reality is that this is a veneer. What you see here is a veneer. The Greek
Veneer?
people are finding
What is
life
that?
difficult. I'm really conscious of it at the moment. I've become particularly conscious of it in August with the holiday times and people coming here and just chatting to people. And I wanted to talk about that today because the reality is that for the Greeks, life is very tough. And we come here as foreigners, be it expats or holidaymakers or whatever, have a fantastic time, are treated like kings and go home impressed with the place and wanting more. But for the Greeks who live here all year round, as I said, life is very tough. And it's particularly apparent here in Paralyostros, where I live at the moment, because although there are plenty of people here and they're having fun and the businesses are catering for them and they're really enjoying themselves, there are less people here than last year. And indeed, there were less people last year than the year before. And the fact is that they are spending considerably less than they have in the past. And I think this is symptomatic of the
So I guess what this indicates is two things. One, that the cost of everything in Greece is going up. But two, also that it's not just hard for Greeks; it's hard for wherever people come from, because they no longer they don't have the same amount of money they could to come to Greece if there is less people coming. So it's not because it is hard for like, basically the whole world. It's hard right now.
economy as a whole. Life is becoming tougher for your everyday Greek, which is odd, really, because when you look at the overall metrics of the economy, the Greek economy is doing very well. The OECD, this fantastic economics organization,
Like
that
if anything,
measures
if you think about it that way, the it's worse for Greeks because it's bad for people elsewhere, because the Greek economy is very reliant on tourism. So if the tourism is not doing good because people are not doing good elsewhere, they're not coming to Greece. So that Greece is even more affected by that. So it's kind of like exacerbates the issue.
global economies, says that Greece is growing at 2.3% of GDP. It's outperforming the European bloc as a whole. Jobs are being created. There's more foreign direct investment. The government shouts about it all the time. The Greek economy is looking fabulous. But if we talk about what it means for the Greeks, it means nothing. Nothing is improving for the Greeks. And I'm really conscious of it this year here because you can see now the beds are not all full. We're just before St. Mary's Day here, and the beds are empty. People are not spending. It's not that people
Right.
are
So that's what I was saying. It's not packed. It's not because he wasn't. Oh, it's packed, but it's not packed. It looks okay. Like I wouldn't call this packed.
Leo Astros is going downhill. It's not that the businesses aren't offering value for money, it's that the Greeks have less money to spend. And the reason is very simple. Wages in Greece are terminally low and not improving. Now, the government has made a big thing in the last year about the fact that the minimum wage has increased €50 a month, and that's ahead of inflation. Bravo. But that only puts the minimum wage at €880 a month. And lots of people in Greece earn close to
And also that only affects minimum wage. Like a lot of people don't make minimum wage, so their wages are not affected. It's not like it's a uniform increase 50 euros for everybody. It's just for the people that make minimum, which is great. No, that's a great start, but that's not a solution.
or at minimum wage. It's very difficult to earn much above because the taxation system becomes so punitive on businesses that as you reward people more and more money, it becomes ineffective and costly to do so. There's no benefit to the business. It's impossible to do so. So the taxation system limits the wage growth and the wage opportunity for the majority of people in Greece. At the same time, the cost of living in Greece is very high and continuing to grow, as it is in many countries. If the UK cost of living was ranked at 100, Greece would be ranked at 80. In other words, Greece is 20% cheaper than the UK. Fantastic, that's why we have a great holiday. We come, it's cheap. Yes, it's cheap for you, but it's not cheap for the Greeks, because the Greeks are earning 880 euros a month. Contrast that with the UK, where it's 20% more expensive. The minimum wage in the UK before tax is 2,400 euros a month. So roughly 3 times what it is in Greece. And yet the UK is only, according to the UN at least, 20% more expensive to live. So you have this huge gap between potentially what people are earning in Greece and the costs of goods and services in Greece. And it's very, very apparent. Now, the cost of living for the Greeks is very, very bad. And the problem here is it's not getting any better. Yes, there are elements of the economy that are doing really well. Greece is attracting a lot of foreign direct investment. There's a lot of infrastructure being built at the moment. I see construction all over the Peloponnese. That doesn't necessarily directly filter down to your everyday Greek, and it's a big problem. I don't know what they can do to
It's
change
gonna
that
change
situation.
what the everyday Greek look like in Greece.
The immigrants coming from all over the place. We have people from Africa coming illegally. We have other Europeans from up north coming legally. Yes. You're right, it is changing.
The only way you can change that situation is to reduce taxes and to increase wages. Now, let's just touch on taxes for a minute. In the UK, I said 2,400 euros a month, roughly, for minimum wage. That is before tax, but you get your first 12,500 or 12,650 or something tax-free in the UK. So the first 12,500 pounds you earn in the UK, no tax. And then you get some benefits on top of that. If you have children, maybe if you need a fuel allowance, etc., the government will provide you benefits. In Greece, you get none of
So, UK, I'm seeing is kind of like the States. Sounds similar. Obviously, I'm sure there's nuances, but the principle sounds very similar.
that. And the tax system here is punitive. Now, traditionally, the Greeks have had a reputation for not paying tax, probably somewhat fairly. And there are still the richer people in Greece who I suspect don't need to. But the majority of your average Joe Schmoes, the average person in Greece, now have to pay tax. And they pay punitive tax because Greece has significant debts and significant liabilities that need to be met. So if you earn €1 in Greece, you pay 9% on it. And you pay 9% up to the first 10,000. Then it leaps, and then it leaps at 20,000, then it leaps at 30,000, then it leaps at 40,000, up to 40%. So you get taxed from Euro 1. So your 880 euros that you earn as a minimum wage, less than €5 an hour, is taxed at 9%. And you get no benefits on top of that. There's no child benefit.
Right, so I think that's the major difference is that because the 9% does not sound bad at all, but at least here in the States, in the UK, maybe most of the modern world, I don't know, you don't get taxed up to a certain point. So like if you live at the poverty line, what they call it, there's no tax up to that point. You only start getting taxed over the poverty limit. I think that's the issue here.
Here or childcare or anything like that, you rely on your family. Your family is already under stress. It's very difficult for people, and year after year after year, it has a real impact on people, and that impact is being felt here on this beach today. The government is bringing in taxes. There's a lot of foreign direct investment coming in, not only from people visiting the islands, but also now
wish you
foreign
saw more
corporations
of
and
the
businesses
beach.
investing in particular, infrastructure projects,
Tired of seeing
hotels,
his
and so on
face.
in Greece. But they're not doing it for the good of Greeks. They're doing it because they are going to make their shareholders and their owners money. That money is often then going overseas. And some of you might say, well, that's fair enough. That's the way the world works, a global economy. But at least they're going to be taxed, corporation tax, and the people they employ, because they are creating jobs, are going to be taxed in Greece. Yes, they are to an extent, but that tax take is not enormous, and it's certainly not trickling down to the Greeks in terms of benefits in any sense. There's no benefit culture here at all. If you're unemployed, you're unemployed. Good luck. And talking with people, talking with the businesses, my friends here, I don't feel I can walk around the beach and make a video extolling how wonderful Greece is in August, because I would be doing a disservice to the people on this beach. They're here in fewer numbers, they're able to spend less money, and the businesses are having to be more aggressive in their tactics to try and survive. For the first time ever, these sunbeds on this beach have a daily charge attached to them. It's only €1. You want to sit on a sunbed here, it's €1. But I've been coming here 15 years to this beach, and it's the first time they've
I don't know if
ever
that's
had to do
gonna
this. And
help.
they've done it right the way along the beach there.
Well, they
Like,
have
it's
to do
still good.
something.
It's still good to show, to make people want to come, to visit, support.
But €1 for a bed is not bad. €1 a bed a day. I mean, if that was the prices here, I would actually rent one. Because whenever we go to the beach, we don't rent because it's ridiculous prices.
I thought it was like $10.
Right, but this is €1 a day. So like, if it was $1 a day, yeah, you can rent it for $1. I don't think that's that bad. I mean, obviously, free is better, great, but $1, €1 is not the end of the world either.
And it goes a mile down there, because people come here, they sit on the bed all day, and they'll have one coffee. You can't run a business on that basis. It's very difficult for people. The businesses in the evening, the food establishments and so on, people will come, they'll order one plate between 3 people. This is a real problem, and I don't know what the Greek government's going to do to fix it, because the Greek government goes on about how wonderful Greece is, how the economy's getting better, how the debts are being paid down, how there's foreign direct investment coming in, how the minimum wage is going up. But in real terms, for the Greek people sitting on this beach, nothing is changing, and if anything, they're war weary and things are getting worse. So I don't wish to be negative in this video, because the people on this beach are always friendly, they're always lovely, they always have a smile on their faces, they're always willing to help you with their last euro, but they are finding it tough, and therefore I'm not going to walk down this beach today and tell you why you should come to Greece. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you watch some of my other videos. I really appreciate you.
He should have walked down, but
Yeah, interesting call of action to like not say the good things about Greece.
um,
Can I see his comments?
sure.
Because you still need people to come for tourism.
Yeah, I left Greece in 09-10 because of the financial, but not because of the financial crisis, but because I wanted to see the world. My plan was always to return to my home country. After a short time, I found a job and selling out. Yet years later, I still found myself living abroad, no vision of going back. Year after year, I see and hear that Greece is falling apart at the most basic, fundamental level.
That's
Every
an unfortunate
yeah,
one.
well, that's a long comment. Finally, someone speaks the truth about my country.
So what do the people do? The protests?
Greek
Like,
in
what do you want?
Greece is in a tough position because of the debt. The debt they have to repay whatever that happened there.
They have
So
the money. The government doesn't want to use the
no,
money.
that's why they're taxed so highly, because they have to repay.
Last time we saw an article, the prime minister, he was saying how much, there was a surplus. And I said, okay, with that surplus, why don't you use it to pay the debt?
They're afraid to the repeat of what happened. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you fix this. People have to protest. Yeah, I think that's the
Because we
start.
also hear like a lot of investors, they come in, there's major big projects are going down in Greece.
Have you saw the one in Athens, that new complex that they're building? Yeah.
So what does this translate when all these opportunities come to the country? What does that translate to the people? Because the thing is, it's not trickling down.
Well, it should. You should create jobs. Then the corporations pay the tax, so the tax burden of the citizens should be reduced as a little bit. I don't know.
Alright, so of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.